going to talk about today, so many people call me up and had troubles with starter motors not engaging in the flywheels and starters not fitting on bell housing. These old Willys Jeeps over different years, there were different flywheel, starter, and ring gear combinations, and if you don't have the right combination, the starters aren't going to work. The starter might bowl on the flywheel, but maybe the starter drive won't engage in the ring gear. It'll just sit there and spin. So I'm going to sort of show you the different starter, bell housing, and flywheel combinations that they had on these things, so you can sort of look and see what you have if you're having a problem, and maybe figure out what's the matter, if it's the starter or if it's the bell housing or whatever it is. The first one is going to be what was used on a World War II Jeep and a CJ2A. The CJ2A and the World War II Jeep use an Autolite starter MZ4113. Now that was a starter. It had an open nose cone on it. The end of the starter ran in a bushing in the flywheel. The only electrical terminal on it is a stud sticking out the top. And usually the starter numbers were on the band that covered the brushes. So many of these starters don't have no number tags on it. So just by looking at the starter, you know, you could tell that you have which one you have, even if you don't have the tag on it. And on these starters here, there were 9 and 10 tooth starter drives in these things, but they'll both work because there's enough slop in the gears that they'll work on either one. Now, these 2As and MBs had a 97 tooth ring gear, and the 97 tooth ring gear went with the MZ4113 starter. And most of these Jeeps here had the electrical foot start switch on the floor. They didn't have a solenoid on or anything, although a lot of Jeeps were converted and people put solenoids on it. They could start them with a key or use a push button to start them, but from new they weren't like that. And then on the flywheel, the bell housing on these were bolted fast to the engine. It's a thin boss around the outside, you might say. The clutch cable went in a hole in the back, and there's the starter bushing in here. This starter bushing got knocked out of this one a little bit, and that's where the end of the starter rides in. This bell housing, 97 tooth ring gear, an MZ4113 starter was used on a MB and a CJ2A, and if somebody took an engine out of an MB or a 2A and put it in a 3A, this setup could be in a 3A also, but no matter how your Jeep was put together, these three pieces have to be the same on the vehicle, otherwise your starter don't work or something else won't work and you'll never get the thing started. And sometimes if you have the wrong combination, you have to pull the motor back out and change the ring gear or change the bell housing, and which makes it a lot of work. So you want to check all this stuff before you, especially if you got a Jeep in a basket and you don't know what you got, you know, that you make sure you have the right setup on it. And this is what the starter drive looks like on these MZ4113. Even though this is a little spring loaded here, but it don't knock the Bendix back all the way. After the Jeep starts, it'll automatically throw the Bendix gear out of the ring gear, so that it won't be running into the ring gear when the Jeep starts.